happen. Okay, so that one was talking about mountains and minutes and hills, but I also wanted to remind you of the T-chart. That was one of the ones that we always did. Remember, you have a starting time, you have an ending time. So you start, if we started at day 26, we want to find the minutes. So you want to start by going by the 5s or 10s or 30 minutes. If we could make it to the 30, it's 4 minutes. So from 8:26 to 8:30 is 4 minutes. And then we keep going, and then from 8:30 to 9:30 is 1 hour, 9:30 to 10 is another hour, 10:30 to 11:30 is another hour. And then you can't go from 11:30 to 12:30 because you stopped at 12:15, so you go to 12. And that would be 30 minutes. From 11:30 to 12 is 30 minutes, from 12 to 12:15. And you would add them. Why? Can somebody tell me why I want to add my minutes first? Somebody tell me. Somebody mute yourself and let me know. Why would I want to add my minutes first?
Because they're the smallest.
Because they're the smallest, okay. Anybody else? Okay, so what if I had, say for instance, I had 67 minutes. What's happening there? If I had 67 minutes when I added them up, is that right? Do I have 67 minutes? Come on, guys. Okay, so tell me, 1 hour equals how many minutes?
60.
60. So if I have 67, can I say 67 minutes?
No.
No, because 60 of them is 1 hour already. So no, you wouldn't do that. This is why you would add your minutes first to make sure you're not over your hour. On this one, we had 49 minutes and 3 hours. So it took 3 hours and 49 minutes. Let's go to the Zoom. I decided, you remember the Z method? And since we were doing the Zoom, I thought, oh, we'll just do a Zoom here. Let's see if I can make it smaller for y'all. Okay, can you see that? The Zoom. Again, you do the Z method. Remember, you make sure you do your Z letter, and then you start at 8:45, but you end at 12:30. Remember, you go from the hour. What hour comes after 8? 9. And then you go to the end. What hour is before 12:30? 12. So now you have all your points, your corners, or written down with hours. So then you go from 8:45 to 9 is 15 minutes. Then you come down here and you go 12 to 12:30 is 30 minutes. And then you have to figure out the hours. So you have to count from 9 to 12. So 10, 11, 12, that's 3 hours. Again, do I add my minutes or my hours first? Anybody? Wake up, my math people. Diver, do I add my minutes or my hours first?
Minutes.
I have to add my minutes first.
Since
So
they're smaller.
Do what?
Since they're smaller, and they can add up to an hour.
That's correct. So 15 plus 30 is 45, and then my hour was 3. So it took me 3 hours and 45 minutes. Now, there's also the line, and I believe the number line you're going to see on your work today. And I know when we did this in class, I just said, use whichever method you feel more comfortable with to do this. So if you look, we started at 2:45 and we ended at 4:18. If I decide to go by hours, because I can go from 2:45 to 3:45, that's 1 hour. And then from 3:45 to 4, that's 15 minutes. And then 4 to 4:15, that's another 15 minutes. And then 4:15 to 4:18, that's 3 minutes. I would add my minutes, and I have them written down right there. And then I only had 1 hour. So it's 1 hour and 33 minutes. Now I have this problem here. Get your pencil and paper, and I want you to see, let's make this a game. Boys and girls. Let's see, girls and boys. Let's see if y'all can, the boys will try to beat the girls and the girls will try to beat the boys. Let's see who gets this first. Can everybody see the problem good? Unmute yourself and let's go, because I want to see who wins. Is it going to be the boys or is it going to be the girls? Leo recorded his sister's piano recital. The recital started at 1:15 p.m. and lasted 1 hour and 22 minutes. What time did the recital end? You're looking for the end. You don't have the end. So go.
See.
Who said that? AJ. Did AJ be a win give a win to the boys? AJ, can you explain to me what did you do there?
I put 1:15 p.m. and add 1 hour, so that would be 2:15. And I added 22 minutes, and then that would be 2:37.
You are correct. AJ, did you add your minutes first?
Yes.
Good. Boys and girls, always add your minutes because you never know if it ends up being an hour. Okay, so we're going to go to our next question. Girls, come on, let's beat the boys here. Lisa arrived at school at 7:45. Her mom signed her out of school at 1:28 for a dentist appointment. How long was Lisa in school that day? Go. Could you do the Z method on this one? Come on, girls. Anybody? Remember, if you're doing the Z method, make sure that you're putting the other hour and the hour that comes before that, and then do your minutes and then do your hours. Anybody ready? I see you working. Avani, are you not done yet?
I'm done.
Well, girl, say something. Give me the answer.
6 hours and 43 minutes.
Is it 6 hours and 43 minutes? Anybody else? Okay, so let's look. So I don't have my whiteboard here with me. I'm just gonna do it on my paper. I'm doing the Z method here, boys and girls. See my paper? Anybody see it? I do my Z. Did anybody else get a different answer? If I put 7:45, okay, can everybody see that? 7:45, and she was picked up at 1:28, correct? What's the hour that comes after 7:45?
8.
8. And what's the hour from 1:28 before?
12.
No, 1 o'clock. Remember, I've told you that this number, this side was going to be the same. You just took the minutes away and it would be that hour. So let's go back over here. From 7:45 to 8, how many minutes is that?
15.
15. Now, from 1 to 1:20, how many minutes is that?
30 minutes, 20 minutes.
28 minutes. Good job, Natalie. I can add up my minutes now, right? Because I have my minutes. So 8 plus 5 is, what's 8 plus 5, guys?
13.
13. So I put my 3 and I carry my 1. What's 2 plus 1 plus 1?
4.
4. So Advani was right. She said 43 minutes, correct? So now we're going to start right here. And boys and girls, you can add your hours. You can say 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 1, right? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and what? 5 hours. So that would be 5 hours and 43 minutes. Am I correct or am I wrong? Somebody. Avani, do you think I'm wrong? From 8 to 9, that's 1 hour. From 9 to 10, that's 2. From 10 to 11, that's 3. From 11 to 12, that's 4. And from 12 to 1 is 5. Am I correct? AJ? Nina, am I correct?
AJ's giving you a thumbs up.
Oh, okay. All right, boys and girls, that is going to be your lesson today on Go Math is elapsed time. Make sure you do your lessons. Tomorrow, you're going to be talking about adding and subtracting money. Money has to do with decimals. Make sure you line up your decimals. Do you understand? That is the most important thing that you have to do with that. If you have any questions, let me know. Get your math done. Like I said, you have 4 lessons left for math. Get it done, and then you're done with math. I miss you. I love you, and I'm passing it to Miss Kirkendall.
So yesterday, y'all should have read Thunder Rose. And before we get started on a video, we're going to go over our vocabulary words. So everybody unmute yourself. We're going to do it just like we do it in class. We have quite a few to get through today. Let me show all the cards. Okay, class. So our first word is recall. What is our first word?
Recall.
Okay, what's the girl doing in the picture?
She's thinking about a memory.
Okay, let's listen to the sentence. See the look of concentration as she tried to recall the information. So what is she trying to do?
Remember.
Write notes, basically.
Remember what?
What the teacher said.
Okay, she's trying to think back and get that information that she needs to pass, right? Okay, so if you recall something, you tell about something that you remember. So what is our word?
Recall.
Thank you, Diver. Next, we have vividly. What is our word?
Vividly. I can't say it.
Vividly.
Vividly.
Say it again.
Vividly.
One more time.
Vividly. Vividly.
Thank you. Vividly. So what's happening in the picture?
She's thinking of something she wants to draw.
She's thinking of something maybe that she wants to draw. She's got her
All right.
markers, blank paper there. The sentence says, as she wrote a story about her summer vacation, Nora vividly remembered her family's trip to the beach. Use your context clues to figure out the meaning of vividly.
Vividly means clearly.
Clearly. So she can remember that family trip very clearly, like it just happened yesterday, right?
Yeah.
She remembers those details as well, like everything, that she's not missing a single moment in her mind. If you remember something vividly, you have a clear, detailed memory of it. What is our word?
Vividly.
Thank you. Next, we have accentuated. What is our word?
Accentuated.
What's happening in the picture? Anybody? What's she doing? Does it look like she's proud of something?
Yeah.
What?
Like she just did something that she's really proud of.
Maybe her hair, right? Look at her hair.
Yeah.
Okay, the sentence says she accentuated her pigtails by wearing pink hairbands. Use your context clues to figure out what that means. What'd she do?
Make her hair?
She made it what?
And pigtails.
Tangly.
She made it pretty. She
Don't
made
know what hair
pigtails. Is it standing out?
Yes.
Yes. So if something is accentuated, it has attention drawn to it. So she wanted people to see those pink pigtails, right?
Yes.
What is your word?
Accentuated.
Accentuated.
Thank you. Next, partial. What is your word?
Partial.
What's happening in the picture?
She's eating vegetables.
She's eating a
Eating
salad, right? Some vegetables.
Healthy.
Okay, good. So the sentence says, my sister is partial to cherry tomatoes in her salad. What do you think that means?
That she's a vegetarian.
Possibly, but what does it mean about cherry tomatoes?
They're juicy.
Does she like them?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're partial to something, you prefer it more than other things. So she prefers what?
Vegetables.
Tomatoes are good.
She prefers the tomatoes over something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your word?
Partial.
Partial. What is your word?
Partial.
Thank you.
When you see the T-I-A-L like that, boys and girls, it's soft. It's partial. It makes the shul sound. So anytime you see T-I-A-L together like that, it's a shul sound. It all blends together.
When was this word made up? I never heard it before.
That's why we're teaching it to you. We're giving you some better vocabulary.
Oh, Spinola.
And didn't you start reading your story, Diver?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, good. So you've seen them
Yeah.
reading.
So I didn't know what they mean.
Your next word is splendor. What is your word?
Splendor.
Tell me again.
Splendor.
Hey, what's happening here in this picture?
They're trying to make everything cool and beautiful.
Give me some more fourth grade better vocabulary than cool.
Make it neat.
No, I did not hear you just say the word cool.
What does it look like?
Special people? Like a party or something?
Okay, like a really
and they're making
special
it look
event.
fancy.
Fancy. Does it look like you could just show up in a t-shirt at this place?
No.
No,
Yes.
it's very formal, right? Very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
looks
so
like
the sentence says, when we walked into the wedding reception, we were amazed by the decorations. Use your context clues to figure out what splendor means. Anybody?
What kind of a party is it, guys?
A place that looks fancy
Mhm.
for rich
Okay.
peoples or dances or marriage.
All right, so they want it to be very nice and elegant. So the splendor of something is its great beauty or impressive appearance. What is our word?
Splendor.
Splendor. What is our word?
Splendor.
Thank you. Next, we have resourceful. What is our word?
Resourceful.
What's happening in the picture?
They're
It looks like
fixing
his
a car.
grandpa's, yeah, they're fixing a car.
They're fixing a car. Looks like they're checking the oil or something. Does it look like the grandpa's maybe teaching him how to do it?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I think the kid's helping him, like, get the tools that he needs.
Okay, let's listen to the sentence and use our context clues. My grandfather is very resourceful because he is able to fix almost anything that is broken.
They're very helpful.
Okay, very helpful. And he solves those problems quickly. He's
He
good.
works at, like, the body shop or something for, like, cars. And
Yeah,
fixes
and these are like good skills to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what is our word?
Resourceful.
Thank you. Next, we have
Disposition.
disposition. What is our word?
Disposition.
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 Okay, what's happening in the picture?
A kid is helping a kid push her around in a wheelchair for the
Okay.
library book she wants.
Does it look like they're having a good time?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're both smiling. They seem very happy, right?
Or it means they're in the wrong spot.
Maybe, but they're still having fun. Okay. So the sentence says, I really enjoy spending time with my friend Juanita because she has such a happy disposition.
Huh?
What do you think that means?
I don't know.
Use your context clues. It says that she likes to hang out with her because she's always happy.
They're helpful friends. She's a helpful friend to her or something.
Okay, that's
Since she's
true.
pushing
So
her around.
whenever your disposition is the way that you act or feel. So she's saying that she's very happy and she likes to be around her. Could it also be a bad thing? What if someone's angry all the time?
That would be a bad thing.
That's their disposition. They're angry, right?
Also, they're not 6 feet apart.
Okay. What is our word?
Disposition.
Next word. Commendable. What is our word?
Commendable.
Commendable. The officer received, oh wait, what's going on in the picture?
He's commanding an army.
Maybe,
Maybe commanding some people.
maybe. The officer received many medals for his commendable service in the military.
How do I not know this?
Look
Look on his jacket.
Yeah, look at his jacket. What does he have all over it?
Badges.
All kinds of badges and medals.
Medals, okay. So whenever someone in the military gets badges and medals, what does that normally mean?
They can be a commander, like a good person in the army.
Right, they
I
did
can command
something
something.
and they earned a badge or a medal for that. They did something really well and it was helpful, or who knows, but he earned a lot, right? So he got praised for his good deeds. If you do something commendable, you do it well and earn praise. What is our word?
Commendable.
Thank you. Last word is devastation. What is our word?
Devastation. Devastation.
Devastation. What's going on in the picture?
Destruction happened like a tornado came through.
All right. Here's the sentence. Many buildings were destroyed due to the devastation caused by the tornado.
That was right.
What does devastation mean?
Disastrous
Okay.
or destructible.
Good. So devastation is terrible damage or complete destruction. So it's in bad shape, right?
Yes.
What is your word?
Devastation.
Devastation. Okay, before I pass it on, I just want to show y'all a video real quick that's going to help you with your story. So you've known that this story is a tall tale. What is a tall tale? Anybody know?
Maiden. Oh.
Somebody? What's happening in your story that you've read? Does it seem like the author's saying stuff that isn't true? Is it very dramatic? Yes? Okay, thank you. So let's watch this real quick. Can we hear?
Why, hello. You may know me from a certain story about a poor defenseless wolf who is set upon by a red-hooded little girl and her delicious grandmother. I mean, her devious grandmother. Those two tricksters have ruined my reputation. Why, I was merely trying to assist that little lost girl when... Woohoo! I do declare, it's my old friend, Mr. Wolfie. Mr. Wolf will suffice, thank you. You know, I love the Wolfies. Did you know I was raised by a pack of coyotes? Coyotes are not wolves. Ha! I'm Pecos Bill. I started talking before I was a month old. Rode my first horse before I could crawl and wrestled with them bear cubs that one time while Mama was cooking. Yes, Bill, we all know the stories. Please cease with the exaggeration.
Oh, you want a story about exaggeration? Let me tell you about the winds in Michigan. Why, just last year, the wind knocked one of our mountains over into a valley. Folks woke up the next day to find themselves living on a flat plain.
I don't believe it. You're the legendary Babe the Blue Ox. Why, I've been wanting to wrestle you for forever. Wait just a moment. I know it can be breezy in Michigan, but you're right, Wolfie. It sure isn't that breezy.
Well, if I didn't exaggerate, nobody would remember the story.
Excellent
well,
point.
sure.
Shrewd observation.
Never thought of that.
What's your favorite story?
Okay, so what does it mean for it to be a tall tale? Does that give y'all a little bit more background on what a tall tale is? Tell me about it. Tell me something.
Unmute yourselves. Nina, tell me something. Tell Miss Kuykendall something about a tall tale.
A tall tale is like it's where you exaggerate it so people will remember it.
It's very exaggerating. And they're meant to be what? Like, think about the author's purpose. Are they persuading you to exaggerate? Are they informing you to exaggerate? Are they entertaining you with exaggerations? Which one?
I say entertain because some exaggerations are funny.
Good. So it's supposed to be exaggerating, funny, something that you're going to remember, right? So in Thunder Rose, tell me some things that you read that you think are exaggerating. It doesn't have to be specific text evidence. I want to see what you can remember. So who's our main character? What? Who's our main character?
Come on, guys.
Thunder Rose.
Thank you, AJ. Thunder Rose. So tell me some things that are being told about her that sound like exaggerations, that sound very dramatic. Nina, Natalie, AJ.
Somebody.
I'll unmute yourself and tell me some stuff. Come on. Y'all read it. Y'all read it yesterday. Tell me something about Thunder Rose. Like, for example, in the very beginning, she is born and it says what about her? What does she do?
She made a ball of lightning.
Can you tell me again, AJ?
She made a ball of lightning.
She made a ball of lightning as a baby, right? And then she goes and she's like talking to her parents like normal. What do we know that babies do whenever they're first born?
Sleep.
They sleep. What else?
Cry.
Normally,
They
yell.
cry, right? They cry a lot. And Rose, did she cry at all?
Nope.
No, she was like, it's okay, I've got this. She just made a
Strong
ball of
baby.
lightning. And then what happens? Tell me some more things that are exaggerating.
Boys and girls, if you didn't read this story, you need to read it. You cannot answer the questions if you did not read it.
Oh, they did. Let me see. We have Jaden has read it.
Jaden, you need to be answering.
Avani has read it. Natalie has read it.
I have read it.
Okay. Diver. Y'all have all read this story. The ones I just called, I see have read it. So come on, guys. It was a pretty good story. Y'all can tell me some things. I started y'all off. What else can we think about?
Teacher, she wanted to drink milk from cows, not like from stores and stuff. Fresh from cows.
Why do you think that? Why is she, what did it say, Natalie? Tell me, give me a visual on what it says in the book, what she does with the cow. Do you remember?
Mm-mm.
It says that she lifted up the cow and what?
Milked it? No.
She drank the milk from it, right? Straight from the cow. What, could someone actually drink that much milk?
No.
Like a regular person?
She's different from all the other people. Way
Right.
different.
Whenever I thought about that, it didn't make me feel like she was a regular size.
It's not fiction. Fiction. Like, is it a true story or?
What do you think, Diver?
Honestly, I think it might be a true story one day.
But what do you think it is for sure?
Fiction.
It's fiction. It's a fictional story. It's meant to entertain us and tell us about all these tall tales and exaggerate. So if she's
One day, I know that's gonna happen.
and drinking straight from the cow, that makes me feel like she's a giant, right?
She must be a strong baby.
She must be.
Lift
So
a
tell me
cow,
some more
yeah.
things.
We can't even lift a cow, but she
Oh, no.
can when she was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could lift a cow, you said?
Yeah. She lifted a cow and drank it dry.
Okay, because see, I don't have the book that y'all read. So y'all are talking about this and I don't even know all this stuff. So when Miss Kirkendall is asking you questions, I would like to know so I can understand what y'all are talking about. You know, it's just like maybe when she didn't understand how we were doing the Z method or the T chart or the line. I don't know what y'all are talking about. And she lifted a cow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She did. She drank it dry.
With her bare hands.
So tell us some more. What else happens?
Tell me.
She makes something and it seems to be pretty important because it stays with her through the entire story. What does she make? And you see it in the illustration.
Oh, I think I remember this.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a not lasso.
She used it as a lasso.
Yeah. What was it? It was basically like a lasso. She used it as it, but
What was it made out of?
What, AJ? What was it made out of?
Metal.
It was a big iron
What it was.
made, right? And then what else? Tell me some more. I want to know how y'all know that this is a tall tale. So give me some of those things that exaggerate and that we know couldn't happen in real life. But it's entertaining.
Can't make a ball of lightning.
She made a ball of lightning. Okay, what else?
He lifted a cow when she was a baby.
In my book, look at this.
She had cow. What is it called? I don't have a good brain.
What is she doing here?
She's riding cows. I can't
She's
really
taking
see
them
it.
down. She's wrestling them, right? Why did she have to do that?
Just to get the milk.
And the meat, probably.
Well, they were coming at her. They were charging. So she took them down. Do you think that that's an exaggeration?
Yes.
Okay, now tell me about the end. What happens at the end? What does she do?
He fights with the storm.
What?
She fights with the storm.
She fights with the storm. What kind of storm?
Lightning storm.
But what was it? Was it just a thunderstorm?
No, it was
I thought it was like a sandstorm.
A tornado. She battled a tornado. Who won?
Her.
She did.
She did. Because what did she use?
She
sang. She used the ball of lightning, I think.
No,
She
she
used
sang.
lightning and she sang. That's right, Jaden. Whenever it says that she sang, what do you think that sounds like? And remember what her name is. Anybody? Nina, what do you think?
She has a
Song.
Texan accent.
Okay, probably. But whenever she sang, and remember her name is Thunder Rose, and she could control what?
Thunder.
Thunder
And
and
lightning.
So if she's singing, what does it sound like?
Thunder and lightning.
Thunder, right? You can't hear lightning, but you can hear thunder. What does it sound like? Give me an onomatopoeia.
It's gonna be hard.
Boom.
Kind of like a big
Okay, boom. Rumble, right?
I'll say stomping on the ground would be one.
That'll work too, but it's got
It makes thunder noises almost.
maybe if she was stomping on the ground, because we keep picturing her as a giant, right?
When she stomped on the ground, she probably made thunder noises. I don't know.
So tell me
Might be.
what a tall tale means. We went over it. Somebody tell me.
Exaggeration.
Thank you, Diver. Exaggerating stories that are meant to do what?
Exaggeration.
What's the author's purpose of them?
Oh, I didn't hear you. Author's purpose?
We went over that too. What do these exaggerations make you do? They make you cry? No? What do they make you do?
Laugh.
Laugh. Thank you. They're entertaining. All right, guys. I'm going to pass it on to Miss Massar. Go ahead, Miss Massar. You're muted.
Okay, I'm glad that y'all just went over that with Miss Kay, because I was going to go over that with you guys too. And so I'll post this. It's everything that she just went over with you, because if you do not know this information, you cannot complete my writing assignment for this week. You have to know that a tall tale is a fictional story that stretches the truth. I know that Miss Kay just went over examples of that with you. I'm going to go over one more example that's pretty famous. For example, huh?
Are you going to put that on class tag?
Yes, I will put this on class tag. For example, apple orchards, big farms of apple trees, are found all over New England because Johnny Appleseed planted them. There's a very famous tall tale about Johnny Appleseed that said that he walked around with a sack full of seeds, and everywhere he went, he planted an apple tree. There probably was somebody named Johnny Appleseed. He probably did plant some trees, but he didn't plant every single apple tree that you find up in the New York City area. The characteristics, this part is extremely important for your writing assignment. You have to know that a characteristic of a tall tale is that they give the main character larger than life abilities. For example, Miss Kay just talked to you guys about the little girl singing, and she was as loud as thunder. Nobody's as loud as thunder. That's one of the loudest sounds in the world. That's a larger than life ability, almost like a superhero's superpower. The details in the story are exaggerated beyond belief. It's exaggeration or hyperbole to say that Johnny Appleseed planted every single apple tree. There's thousands of apple trees. Nobody could do that. It's exaggeration beyond belief to say that a little girl can sound as loud as a thunderstorm. And one of the most important ones is that the characters are everyday common people. They're not superheroes. They're not billionaires. They're not fantasy characters like knights and princesses or wizards. They're everyday people like me and you who have these extraordinary abilities. Some famous examples, I've already talked about Johnny Appleseed, Paul Bunyan, Pecos Bill, John Henry, Casey Jones, and Davy Crockett. Paul Bunyan is a famous tall tale that takes place up in the northern part of the United States, and he was a giant who cut down lots of trees and had a blue ox as his partner. Pecos Bill was a cowboy in the West Texas area, and they said that he was such a good cowboy he roped a twister and rode it like a horse. John Henry was an ex-slave who built like railroads faster than machines. Like there was a big race between him and a machine that built railroads, and he beat it. Casey Jones is, there's a poem about him, and there's a cartoon too. He's a baseball player. He could hit balls farther than anybody else. Davy Crockett, you know him from Texas history. Even though he is a real person, and we know he was real, there were tall tales told about him and how he grew up in the wilderness and he was raised by animals. Okay, that's not true. We know that. So these are some famous examples that maybe you have heard of. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys your prompt this week. It is, I'm going to be very honest, it's a little bit tougher than some of the ones that we've done. And so you need to be on Zoom tomorrow. and you need to pay really close attention tomorrow so that you know what to do. You're going to imagine that you have a blog where you share ideas about writing and books. You plan to write about characters and events and tall tales. You're going to write a blog post explaining what makes a story a tall tale, using Thunder Rose as an example. Don't forget to use some of the critical words in your blog post. So we are going to do that by taking these characteristics and putting them into a composition where we explain examples of these elements from the story that you read. I'm going to help you plan that. I'm going to help you brainstorm that, and we're going to do an example based off of one of these so that you know exactly how to do that. One more time. I am expecting a composition. I am not expecting a paragraph. I'm not expecting 5 or 6 sentences. I want an introduction, an MI1, an MI2, and a conclusion. For example, and I will post this on class tag also. I wrote a composition doing exactly what I want you guys to do, but I did it over Cinderella as a fairy tale. So I have an introduction. Cinderella is a very popular story that has been told for years. It is a story that nearly everyone has heard. Cinderella is an example of a fairy tale. So right there, Ms. Nassar has her central idea statement where I'm telling you Cinderella, fairy tale. Then here's MI number 1, where I'm going to tell you the summary of Cinderella, what the story is about. First, you need to know what Cinderella is about. Cinderella wanted to be accepted by her stepfamily, but they forced her to do all of the household chores. When the king threw a ball, Cinderella could only go with the help of her fairy godmother. She went to the ball and fell in love with the prince. She had to go home at midnight, so the prince only knew who she was by her glass slipper. Then the prince had everyone try on the slipper, but it didn't fit. Finally, Cinderella tried. It fit, so they were married. I've got my somebody wanted. Where is it? So then finally, and I know I have the comma but in there somewhere. Right here. So I followed the same summary strategy that Miss K has taught you. I just did it as a paragraph. Each one of those got its own sentence. Somebody wanted, but, so, then, finally. That makes your paragraph about your summary. Then I'm going to go into the elements down here. Cinderella is a fairy tale because, right here, it uses the elements or characteristics of a fairy tale. First, there is magic used in Cinderella. An element of fairy tales is magic. So that's the first element that I said, magic. Now I'm going to explain that. I'm going to give you an example of magic in my fairy tale. The fairy godmother uses magic so Cinderella can go to the ball. She creates Cinderella's dress and carriage to ride in. Also, here's another way magic is used, so that the glass slipper only fits Cinderella. Next, here's my next element of a fairy tale that is found in Cinderella. There is a happy ending. All fairy tales end, they lived happily ever after. So I'm going to explain that. I'm going to give an example now. All fairy tales end happily. In this tale, not only does Cinderella marry the prince, she also gets a family that loves her. So happy ending, she marries the prince, she has a family that loves her. Magic, she creates the dress, and the glass slipper only fits Cinderella. And then I have my conclusion. Cinderella is a great fairy tale. I think it's one of the best. I hope you get to enjoy it soon. Tomorrow, when we come to Zoom class, we're going to go over the kernel I for this, and we're going to pay a lot of attention to this part right here because this is going to be the tougher part of the composition to write. We're going to practice writing this with another tall tale. That gives you 2 examples plus brainstorming done with the class to help you be successful in this composition. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to the gallery. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. It's going to be very important for everybody to be on Zoom tomorrow. It's going to be a big day. If you have nothing else for me, I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see you on May 18th at our big celebration. You better all show up. And I will see you, and we will all see you tomorrow. Love you guys.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye.
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 Love you guys.
Bye-bye.